Yes, let me present myself. So I'm Sally. I've been an educator for 25 years. I'm originally from the UK, in the Midlands, the Nottingham area. I'm also a mum of 3 boys, and I live here in Ras al Khaimah. I used to be a primary school teacher until very recently. In the UK, I also worked at the University of Nottingham. I was an assistant professor of primary education. It was there that I did a master's degree in creativity, arts, literacies and learning. I'm also an educator for children and adults because I am also an holistic healer, and that kind of is a fusion between my education background but now educating in the wellness industry. Brought me to Ras al Khaimah. It was through me being an educator, and when I worked at the University of Nottingham, I led the PGCE course, which is the teacher training course. I was then asked to work on the international PGCE, so that brought me over to Ajman in the UAE. So twice a year, the university used to fly me over to Ajman, and I used to do the teacher training course for international students. And it was here where there was one day where I'd finished teaching, I walked out onto the beach and thought, this is where I want to be. I knew, working at university, that eventually I wanted to go back into the classroom, because when you come out of the classroom and teach other people how to do it, you kind of sometimes need to go back to see if you can still do it yourself, to see if you can still be an educator of children. But I knew that I didn't want to do that in the UK because I'd done it before, so why not try it internationally? So I gave up my job at the University of Nottingham and I applied for a teaching job in Ras al Khaimah. The reason why I did that is I already had a friend, a very good friend, who had been here for a year. We'd been to visit her. She told me how wonderful it was. So I then came to RAC and began working in a primary school, which was wonderful and probably the best decision I've ever made. I love my free time in Ras al Khaimah. It's one of the reasons I love living here, just because I find it so peaceful. We live right on the edge of the beach, so every morning I go and walk my dog. I like to run. It's the perfect place to run because it's so safe as a woman living here. I know that I can go out running at any time of day. I also enjoy yoga, I enjoy meditation, I enjoy going to the mall, but I also enjoy the desert. When the weather's cool, I enjoy going into the desert for breakfast, especially in the morning with me and my family. The dog can run around, and there's just so many kind of cultural opportunities in RAC that I would have never experienced in the UK. I think I've been very lucky, but I say lucky, I feel that all the work that I've done and the way that my mindset works has brought me to Ras al Khaimah for a reason. I've taken a big step in stepping out of the classroom, which is what I've known for the last 25 years, and decided to use my passion and my skills to have my own business, to use my passion, my knowledge and skills elsewhere outside the classroom. And I feel in RAC it's the perfect place to do this because I feel really supported by the other women in RAC. We've kind of made partnerships together. It's very easy to make collaborations. People support you with what you want to do. They kind of go along with your passions. And I feel like Ras al Khaimah is a really easy place to kind of what we call finding your tribe, finding people who have got the same passions as you and don't feel that they're in competition with you, but they build you up and you can collaborate together and you are both helping everybody. Okay, the future of Ras al Khaimah I think is very exciting. When I first moved here, it was very quiet, very peaceful, which is what I like about it. But I feel that now it's growing in a positive way. I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for sport, for wellness, for the entertainment industry. But I also feel that it's going to retain kind of its uniqueness in terms of sustainability, the economics and the community. I don't feel like the community feel will be lost because I think that's so strong that even though it's expanding, I feel that that will still be kept. Okay, what's my purpose professionally? I've thought a lot about this over the kind of last 6 months because coming out of teaching was a big step for me. I feel like because of my background and it's been a successful career, what was it that was so successful? And I feel now that my kind of purpose in life is to share my knowledge, my passion, my skills with others. Not just in the academic sense, but as an educator of people, as an educator of human life and what it means to be a human. So I feel that my professional purpose is still with children, because I feel that children are the roots of everything. So I feel that I'm still sharing my academic passion with them, to make them feel like they have a voice in the world and to understand who they are as human beings. But then I also feel like my passion is to share that with adults who may not have had that as children, and to make them understand who they are and to unlock their limitless potential. And now I've created SOVARA Elevate. This grew out of people asking me to work with their children, work with themselves on mindset and coaching, and so I've created SOVARA Elevate. Part of that is SOVARA Wellness, and another part of that is SOVARA Roots. The wellness side of it is to concentrate on meditation classes, mindset coaching, whether that's one-to-one or group sessions, and children's yoga and mindfulness sessions. And then the SOVARA Roots side of it is combining kind of the academic tutoring, enrichment sessions, study groups, but fusing the two together so that we're still working on mindset and coaching, but more of an academic side of it with children. The way that I feel I'm giving back to the community, people, whether it was parents or children or beginning teachers, have been coming to me and saying, what is it that you're doing with my child? Why are they so motivated to learn? They never used to want to read, and now they're reading every night. What have you done? Why have you changed them? In terms of how have you changed their mindset to be motivated learners? And equally with adults as well. People coming to me, what are you doing? Why are people feeling like this? And now I feel that I've come away from the classroom where I was just with those 23 children, and I feel that I want to give back to the people what they're asking for. Capture what it was that was happening in the classroom, that people were so happy with. It almost felt overwhelming at times to have that, what are you doing? Why is my child so happy? And now I feel that that's what I want to give back to the community. My experience of being an educator, and just in life generally, meeting the people that I've met throughout my life, is that people feel, many people, and it's just part of life where they feel like they're constantly on the go. They've got to take the children to school, they've got to cook dinner, they've got to keep up with the fast pace of modern day life. And I think what I want to do is allow people to get out of their heads, step back, and create that space where they can reflect on what their purpose is in life, to make them feel like they've got that space, to make them feel that they've got a voice, they've got a reason that they're here, and give them the tools to use in everyday life, because often people will say to me, I haven't got time to do that though. And that's kind of the whole point, because we have to make time for it, time for ourselves, to love ourselves again, to respect ourselves, and giving them tools that fit into everyday life, because I'm still a busy person now. When I was a teacher, I was a very busy person, but I still recognised that there's things that I can do that are easy and habitual that I can then share with other people, that fit into everyday lives, that don't have to be just something else I've got to do. Okay, so I'll start with how I solve my own problems. If you'd have asked me this question 20 years ago, I wouldn't have answered in the same way, but the way that my life, the path that I've taken in my life and the purpose that I feel I've got right now is to understand purpose, to understand what my purpose is in life, to understand how my body works, to understand how my mind works, and to step outside the everyday, and to be that reflector. The way that I would encourage other people to problem solve, and it's what I do when I'm working with young people or adults, is for them to find their purpose and to create habits in their own life that will raise their vibration, that will, through raising their vibration, change the physiology of their body, and ultimately then change the way that they view the world and change the way that they view themselves. So I think my kind of unique value that kind of brings me to the point where I am now is combining all the years of experience that I've had as an educator and different experiences in my life to get me to the point where I am now. I think it's that kind of perfect fusion of working with young people to unlock their potential, to get rid of their limiting beliefs, to recognise what it means to be a human, to find their purpose in life. But also using my experience as an educator working with young children is to then work with adults who wouldn't have had that when they were a child. So unlocking their potential as an adult because they wouldn't have necessarily had those skills and knowledge brought out of them when they were young. So I think combining all of that together is where I sit kind of uniquely, because I've got so many different angles and I want to bring that passion that I've had through all the years of education into what I'm doing now. So my recommendation for newcomers, thinking back to, this is my 6th year now in Ras al Khaimah, so thinking back to when I first arrived, I was very lost. I'd lost everything. I'd left everything I knew, like my friends or the things that I used to do, my interests. I found it very quickly, but I think if I'd have had something like WowRack, which is an absolutely fantastic platform to find in events where you can find the people that you connect with. If I'd have had or known about that when I arrived, it would have made life a lot easier. So it's a fantastic platform to connect. But also come with an open heart and an open mind, because we have to remember that the world isn't as it is. The world is how you view it. So it's all about perspective, all looking at things through a lens that is open, and enjoying Ras al Khaimah for what it is. There's so many things to do, so many opportunities to connect with people, build relationships, and yeah, I highly recommend it. I could not recommend it enough. I'd like to thank Keshal Coffee for allowing us to do the interview here and serving us fabulous coffee.
You are welcome. The pleasure is ours. You are always welcome to Keshal anytime you wish to pass by to make your interview. Keshal is your home. You are always welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.